Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. We have a packed evening of news for you tonight, with a focus on the Middle East. Tensions are escalating between the US and Iran, with a series of developments that have caught traders and diplomats off guard. Iran's supreme leader has made a series of ominous warnings, while the US is seeking concessions. We'll break down the latest on these developments, from perfectly timed bets to the Strait of Hormuz, and explore what it all means for the region and the world. Let's get started. A lucrative bet on a conflict that was meant to never happen is yielding enormous profits. But what's driving these traders' seemingly impossible success? A recent series of suspicious bets on the Iran war have raised concerns among lawmakers and experts over potential insider trading. In the days leading up to the US and Israel's strikes on Iran, traders placed bets that accurately predicted the timing of these events. For example, on February 27th, 16 accounts on the online betting platform Polymarket placed bets that the US would strike Iran the next day, totaling $855,000. These bets were more than triple the total amount of money typically placed on such events. The same platform also saw a single user make over $550,000 after betting that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would be assassinated by Israeli forces just moments before the event occurred. More recently, traders bet $950 million that oil prices would come down, with these bets also proving correct. These large wins have raised questions about whether some traders have access to inside information that is allowing them to make accurate predictions. The proliferation of online betting markets and commodity derivatives has made it easier than ever for traders to place bets on news events. This has created opportunities for traders to make big wins, but it has also raised concerns about potential insider trading. Leaders of some U.S. federal agencies and members of Congress are now calling for greater regulation of these markets. However, it is unclear how much leeway regulators will have in implementing new laws and enforcement mechanisms. As tensions escalate following President Trump's latest comments on Iran, the international community is bracing for potential fallout and reactions from Tehran. The recent statements made by U.S. President Donald Trump regarding Iran have sparked widespread criticism and confusion among Iranian officials and supporters. Trump's announcements claimed that Iran had agreed to stop enriching uranium on its soil, that the U.S. and Iran would jointly remove enriched uranium from bomb sites, and that the Strait of Hormuz had been opened and would never be closed again. However, these claims have been met with rejection and clarification from Iranian authorities. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, the Speaker of Iran's parliament, has publicly denounced Trump's claims as lies and stated that they will not win Iran anywhere in negotiations. Ghalibaf led the Iranian delegation to the recent Islamabad talks on Iran's nuclear issue, and his rejection of Trump's claims comes as a significant blow to the U.S. president's efforts to negotiate with Iran. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has also weighed in on the issue, releasing a statement stating that the Strait of Hormuz is once again heavily restricted and under strict management of the armed forces. The IRGC cited continued acts of piracy and maritime theft under the so-called label of a blockade by Washington as the reason for the restriction. This development is significant, as it highlights the ongoing tensions between Iran and the U.S. over the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway for global oil supplies. The situation matters because it reveals the depth of the mistrust and confusion between the U.S. and Iran, two major world powers with competing interests in the region. The U.S. claims to be seeking to negotiate a peaceful resolution to the conflict, while Iran views Trump's statements as a brazen attempt to undermine its sovereignty and territorial integrity. A sudden shift in Iran's stance has raised eyebrows in the global energy market, with the Strait of Hormuz taking center stage once again. Good evening, I'm your anchor. We're tracking a significant development in the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. According to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran's military wing, the strait's status has returned to its previous state after being partially closed by the U.S.-led naval blockade. This move was announced by the IRGC's military command spokesman, who claimed that the U.S. blockade constitutes piracy and maritime theft. The U.S. President Donald Trump had previously said that the blockade would continue, despite Iran's announcement that the strait was fully open to commercial vessels. Trump expressed concern that Iran would use the waterway to transfer arms to its proxies in the region. However, Iranian officials have dismissed U.S. threats, saying that the country's vessels have been using the strait for legitimate trade purposes. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point for global oil supplies, with over 20% of the world's oil passing through it. The blockade, which began in 2019, has been a major point of contention between Iran and the U.S. The latest development has sparked concerns about the stability of the region and the potential for miscalculations between the two nations. With a ceasefire deadline looming next week, observers say Iran is looking for room to maneuver on bigger issues. We'll continue to monitor this situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. Following a recent escalation in tensions between Iran and the West, the Iranian supreme leader has issued a stark warning to the U.S. and Israel. Tensions in the Middle East have escalated as Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei warned of new bitter defeats for the U.S. and Israel. The warning was made in a message read on Iranian state TV, highlighting the country's readiness to defend its interests in the region. According to reports, at least 2 merchant vessels have come under gunfire in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for global oil supplies. The incidents are believed to have occurred in recent days, but the exact timing and details are not yet clear. Iran's military has been on high alert since the U.S. drone strike that killed top Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in January. The strike was a major escalation in the tensions between the U.S. and Iran, and has led to a significant increase in military activity in the region. The Strait of Hormuz is a strategic location, as it is one of the most important shipping lanes for global oil supplies. Any disruption to the waterway could have significant economic implications for the world. The U.S. and its allies have warned Iran against any further aggression, while Iran has vowed to defend its sovereignty and interests in the region. The situation remains volatile, with both sides showing a willingness to use force. The international community is watching the situation closely, as it has the potential to spark a wider conflict. The UN Security Council has already met to discuss the situation, and the U.S. is preparing to send more troops to the region. As tensions in the Middle East escalate, Iran's supreme leader has issued a stark warning to the United States and Israel, sparking global concern. Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has warned of new bitter defeats for the U.S. and Israel, stating that Iran's navy is ready to inflict significant losses on these countries. This warning was read out on state TV on Saturday, April 18th, and attributed to Khamenei's statement. According to maritime security and shipping sources, at least 2 merchant vessels were hit by gunfire as they attempted to cross the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday. This incident comes shortly after Iran announced that it was tightening control of the waterway. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital shipping lane that connects the Gulf to the rest of the world, with over 20% of the world's oil passing through it. This increased tension in the region has significant implications for global energy markets. The U.S. and Israel have been critical of Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz, with the U.S. accusing Iran of aggressive behavior in the region. The U.S. has also maintained a military presence in the region, with a fleet of warships patrolling the waters. Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz are seen as a response to the U.S. and Israel's presence in the region. The U.S. and Israel have been involved in military operations in the region in recent years, including strikes against Iranian targets. This increased tension between Iran and the U.S. and Israel has significant implications for global security and stability. It also raises concerns about the potential for conflict in the region and the impact on global energy markets. The situation is being closely watched by international leaders and diplomats. That's all for today's news recap. We've seen significant developments in the markets, with traders placing over $1 billion in perfect ties. U.S. President Trump has claimed that a deal with Iran is imminent, but the details remain unclear. Meanwhile, the status of the Iranian concessions remains uncertain. We'll continue to follow these stories and bring you updates as more information becomes available. Thank you for watching, and we invite you to subscribe to our channel for the latest news and analysis.